it is Dr. T again, and I am with Hope Serenity Health Services, a women's mental health agency located in Central Florida, specifically in Altamont. And I'm so pleased that I have with me today Maria Driscoll. Maria is an intern here at HNS, and I could go on, but I'm going to let Maria introduce herself. So, Maria, if you can share a little bit with us about who you are and how you ended up here at HNS.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So I'm a retired Florida teacher of 23 years. I've worked in private and public schools in Florida in all different demographic locations, from A schools to F schools. I've worked with many different cultures here in Florida, and I really think culture should be celebrated as this helps to young ones to build autonomy and self-identity, which is so important is in any child's growth. I ran my own family daycare home, and I've always been told by family and friends that I'm the child whisperer. So I still hold my Florida teaching license. I'm certified in ESE and ESOL education. Regarding what really inspired me to work with children and families is I grew up in a household where, although there was a lot of love, there was also mental illness and substance abuse among family members. I always wished I had someone to talk to about what was going on, but I was raised in a culture of parents and caregivers saying things like, what goes on in this house stays in this house. I decided to go back for my master's in MFT to specialize in children and adolescents in July of 2020 during the pandemic. It was always on my heart to do so. Looking back over the years of teaching, I now see that the things that they called students, such as non-compliant and things like that, that staff didn't really see that these were unmet underlying needs in these children, whether they had a diagnosis or not. There was definitely a turning point, which finalized that scary decision to uproot a career that I loved to change course at such a late stage in my life. Um, and it was a day where one of my students, I'll call him T, came into class. And I tried to make it a safe place. And it's a family. I told the students, this is your safe place. You can always say anything, we'll support you. And he came in and he said, my mom died last night. And I was just shocked. I always taught my students, say what you need to say. I was so shocked and felt so bad. And I said, you can talk about it, you can cry, whatever you need to do, buddy. So he proceeded to tell us that mom just became unresponsive last night. Grandma tried to help, auntie, the paramedics tried to help, but that she just didn't wake up. And his words were, she died. Well, the kids in the class were just shocked and like, what do we do, Mrs. Driscoll? And I said, guys, what do you think we should do? And they just all 17 of them ran and hugged him. They were crying. And of course, I was crying. And uh, it was a really pivotal moment in my mind because I knew I had to do more to help. And I couldn't because I had to stop this and then teach them math. Yeah,
Mm,
hi. Yeah.
mm. Wow, wow. What grade was this?
First grade. Hmm.
First grade. I
Yeah.
can only imagine for the child, for the children in the class, for you to hear that, to have that experience, and then next up, math.
Hmm. It was a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
It also says a lot about it's very difficult. It's difficult for us as adults to go to work and do the things all day long, and we're having crises or all these other things happening at home.
Right.
That much more difficult for children.
Absolutely.
So much
Absolutely.
happening at home,
Hmm.
their lives, but they're expected to sit still, pay attention, do math, do reading, and they've just had this traumatic experience happen.
Exactly.
Thankfully, you created a safe space where the
I
child is
I
safe.
really tried to keep it that way. Absolutely. It's just knowing that I couldn't do more is what made me feel like, okay, it's really time to go back to school. So yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. There was something else that you said. You were talking about ESE and ESOL, and for those
Mhm.
that may not be familiar, can you share with the audience what that?
Sure, sure. So being certified in ESOL is English as a second language. So when you have children that are coming from just a different country, may speak a different language, I'm certified in helping them
Mm.
in their general education. ESE stands for Exceptional Student Education. So that's for any children that may have externalized needs, such as could have Down syndrome or be on the autism spectrum or cerebral palsy and things such as that, as well as gifted children is also in ESE.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you for clarifying. There was another statement that you made that I wanted to clarify for our audience too, and you said non-compliant. And I'm used to hearing that as a former medical social worker myself. I would hear that in hospital settings. I have not heard that. And I used to teach, well, I used to be a counselor in schools,
Mhm.
but I never heard non-compliant for a student. Can you share more what that means?
Sure, absolutely. So they would call children non-compliant if they couldn't sit for a certain amount of time in a
Mm,
seat while you were teaching. To me, it just didn't feel right. Developmentally, a lot of these kids need to get up. So if my kiddo needed to stand up and do his work and he was near his desk, it was okay with me. If
mm,
he was able to do a little bit of something and feel good about it, that was okay with me. Whereas my mindset for the child was any kind of progress is to be celebrated.
Hmm. Perfect for the counseling space. Absolutely perfect for the
Mhm.
counseling space. I imagine when you left the schools that there were some kiddos, there were some parents or teachers, colleagues are probably really sad about it. And in the counseling world, we're really
Mm,
excited to have you.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, what's one thing that you say that you enjoy about working with children in therapy?
There's really not one thing I love most about helping children in therapy, but I can mention a few things. I truly love building a trusting relational bond with them so that they feel safe to open up about what's on their minds. And I love seeing them grow into their self-esteem or autonomy. For example, one of them are able to find their voice previously when they didn't have one in an assertive way, of course, versus an aggressive way. As well as I really love when they can report back to me that they've tried something to help progress towards one of their goals that they previously would never have tried. I also
Mhm.
love it when a parent will say that they're seeing some positive changes in their child.
Mhm. That is wonderful. Speaking of parents, oftentimes parents are bringing their children to therapy, but parents really don't have a sense of, okay, well, should I be involved in a therapy with my child? Should I just kind of not ask questions? What do I do? For someone who is bringing their child or considering bringing their children to therapy, what would you describe or share with them to expect when their child is in therapy? What should they do? What should they not do? Any
Hmm,
recommendations?
that's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. When I bring the parents in and I'll sit in, I think it's really good to do an initial intake with the, parents there because it presents an opportunity for the parents to, in front of their child, say some really good things about their child, which they may not have previously heard. Sometimes parents think it and expect kids to know it. But just hearing that in a session can really get the positive juices flowing, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
to get them excited and be like, oh, wow, mom really feel or dad really feels that way for me.
Mhm.
And also bringing up positively what they would like to see, not necessarily change, because we're not trying to change the child. We're trying to support them through maybe a time in their life that they just need some extra tools. Something as simple as just being able to say a feeling, because if they're really not taught, and not by any fault of parents, it's just not something you think is necessary to sit down and talk about. But just
Mhm.
naming some feelings and thinking of some ways to validate that. But back to the sessions would definitely be one on one with
Mhm.
myself and the child. And then maybe about once a month, bringing the caregivers in as well to go over any goals and things that they see. I also have an open door policy. They can send messages to me throughout the week. And then, of course, I would respond on days that I'm in. But I really like to find resources for parents if they find that they're stuck in a
Mhm.
certain situation in the home because basically I'm spending 1 hour with them, but the parents are the first and the most important teacher. So I always like to express what you model is what you will see. regardless of what you want to change in your child. And
Mhm.
that takes some grace, compassion, and acceptance for the change to begin.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Maria.
You know,
Yeah. When parents are or caregivers, if they're wondering if they should take their child to therapy, are there signs that they should be looking for?
there are some definite signs. I that comes to my mind when they're struggling at school or home.
Mhm,
Parents might see some things that suggest that therapy could be helpful, such as if they see their children isolating more often than usual,
mm,
in their room, away from family a lot more, not wanting to do things they normally like to do for fun, whether it's with family or friends,
mhm,
their grades plummeting, eating and sleeping habit changes, angry
mhm.
outbursts for no apparent reason, the persistent oppositional behavior. Parents are the first experts on their children. So just paying attention and validating their needs and perhaps gently asking them, do you think maybe talking to somebody besides me could help? Could be the first step in helping them get the healing that they need.
Beautiful. And so let's say the parent says, okay, I've noticed some of the things that Miss Maria said. I've talked to my child. My child is open to going to therapy. They bring them to therapy with you. How do you start to help children feel comfortable with receiving
Mhm.
therapy with you?
That's a great question. So when children feel comfortable and safe, they feel heard and seen. So they have to feel comfortable and safe before they're going to open up. That's usually when they'll start opening up. So the first thing I express to them is everything they say to me stays with me unless they are harm to themselves or others or someone is harming them.
Mhm,
Then after that, I just try to meet them where they are, even if it's just playing a game of cards, a board game, coloring with scented markers, could be painting. We'll play basketball with the trash bin and old paper, play catch or Play-Doh for the younger ones, or even the older ones if they want to feel like a kid again, little kid. I let them choose so they have the autonomy. And if they don't feel like it, then we don't do anything. Just kind of try to get on their level. I usually sit on the floor so they don't feel like I'm over and above them. I'll always try to start with fun things like would you rather games or things such as if you could be any superhero, what would you be? Or if you had a choice of a superpower, would it be invisibility or laser eyes? Or it
mhm.
may seem silly, but it does help build rapport. Good for all children, all ages. Play is their language of them expressing themselves, whether they even realize it or not. So, and this can tell me a lot about a client.
I like what you said there about play is their language at any age, whether they realize it or not. And that's
Yeah.
an important point about age first, about ages, the ages of the children that you work with. What ages would you say are ideal for you to work with?
I would say anywhere from age 3, I would go as young as 3, up to age 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then with the play, I'm so glad you brought that in because sometimes parents, caregivers may come in really stressed, really overwhelmed, understandably so, and they
Sure.
want something to be done, to happen, to fix the child. And child may come out of a session with you, a kiddo may come out of the session and say, we just played this game, we just played that game. And the parent or caregivers, what? I brought
Mhm.
you here for you to be fixed and not to play a game. And so I'm so glad that you named that the playing the game is rapport building and it's also learning the child through play. Children and adults often are able to express themselves more comfortably, share a bit more comfortably, and that's how you are able to start building the connection. So I'm so glad that you named that.
Thank you. Definitely, I agree. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what's one tip you would give parents who want to support their child's emotional well-being this school year with all of the changes that have been happening
Mhm.
nationally, in different states, different laws? There are lots of changes that have
Yes.
been happening. And so
Mm.
parents are seeing shifts in their children because of that. Some parents are seeing shifts in their children because they have children who were homeschooled during COVID
Mhm.
and
Yes.
they are they've been back in school for a few years now, but still the socialization feels a little delayed. And there's just a
Mhm.
variety of things that are happening. Connections with social media and navigating bullying, so many things, and parents
Mhm.
are kind of feeling overwhelmed.
Yes.
Wondering what can they do to help optimize their child's well-being? So, are there any tips or suggestions you would give?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that parents are their child's first and foremost best teacher.
Mhm.
It's honestly one of the things I would like to say, which is something so simple, because parents have so much on their plates already. Like for me
Right.
to give them homework, I just wouldn't do that. So the one I think most important tip, and people may say it's small, but small things can be great things as well. Just by emotion, they could support their child's emotional well-being this school year. It's just when they get in the car or when they get home. Give them space. Don't start barraging them with questions like, "How was your day? Do you have homework? Don't leave your clothes on the floor. What do you wash up for dinner? Make sure your homework is done." And instead, ease in. Just say, "It's so happy to see you. I missed you today." Starting off with that easy thing, just like, "Oh, wow, yeah, thanks." It just makes that child feel less stressed. They've been told what to do from the moment they've gotten up till the moment they've gotten home by the bus driver, by the hall monitor, by the principal, by the rule. There's so many rules and regulations and parents, and they are up to here at the end of their day. They need to unwind. A lot of parents might disagree with me, but I do not think they need to go right to homework. Absolutely not. Play close, do what you have to do. They need to have some downtime. They need to have that downtime like we need to when we get home. It's a busy day, school day. It's not just playing and singing. It's not. Even preschool. It's not. They need a little snack, maybe 30 to 45 minutes of play downtown time. You can put the timer on just to make sure they're not slacking off whatever time you want them to get their homework done. But then have the homework schedule. Make sure they wash up and before dinner and then bath, whatever, shower, relaxation, and sleep.
Mhm.
Really and truly, sleep. They need lots of it, especially during the school year. But it's
Yeah.
just as simple. So happy to see you. Instead of going on the barrage of, did you do this and have this done? And da 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 and da 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 da. Just like
Mhm.
us, they're people, they have feelings.
So well said. So well said.
Thank
It's
you.
hard for, and it can be hard, absolutely, for parents to remember this. They're doing a lot. They're trying to remember all the things to get done and
Yes.
just going back and forth, and
Hmm.
they want to make sure that the kiddos are getting done what they need to get done. So it can be stressful and it can be overwhelming. I like what you said. They're just like us. They're people too. And so
Yeah,
when we are able to shift that dynamic and think about it that way, it get everybody gets a chance to breathe. You're picking them up. You're tired.
yes,
You've had a long day. They've had a
absolutely.
long day. They're tired. You just
Hmm.
get to sit in the car in silence. If you
Hmm.
want to,
Hmm.
missed you. It was so good to see you. I love that. And then I also like
Yeah,
what you talked about just the rest of the day. Structure and ritual can be so healing for the nervous system.
absolutely.
And us as adults and children, when we know what to expect, it's just so much better. And so
Sure
when we
is. Sure
know,
is.
when we get in the car with our caretakers, we don't do a whole lot of talking. We sit and we maybe listen to a little music and we take a nice drive and then we get home and take off our clothes. And, we just kind of have the ritual and it's
Hmm.
much easier for everybody. So
Hmm.
I love
Hmm.
how you describe that. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. I really think it's important just to have that time where they can just be themselves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if a parent has decided or caregiver has decided that they want to bring their child to see Miss Maria here at Hope and Serenity Health Services, what would you say is the best way for them to reach out to you or to contact you?
Oh, okay. To reach out to me, would probably be to call the front office
Hmm.
and see what availability I have through our wonderful administrative assistant, Janice, and put you on the schedule. Oh,
Yeah. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, Maria, it was such a pleasure chatting with you, and I'm so glad to have you here at HNS as an intern. It's been my honor, true honor, to be a supervisor for you in this process of your journey. The children, I agree with your family. You are the child whisperer. I'm here to attest to
Oh
that.
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And
Thank you.
yes, I love seeing the children glow and be so happy to see you sitting in the lobby waiting for you to come down the hallway. I love to see that. So thank you for being a treasure, an added gift, and a gem to the practice. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.